CFM Radio.
CFM Radio. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Welcome back. Thanks for coming. If you're new, or if this is your first time here, get ready for some video game music and news.
Video game music and news. That's with DJ Venom, aka Drix, my glorious co-host who spins the great tunes, the best video game tunes that you will hear tonight on the internet, along with the best video game headlines that we could dig up.
Yep, we like to keep you both educated and entertained, informed and smiley dancy.
Absolutely. And you know, Drix, I gotta tell you, before we get into everything, we have had quite a streaming week this week. Mother Monday was wild. Huge numbers. I could hardly believe it. Oh, hold on. I think Drix is having a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it must be my bandwidth.
Oh,
Ooh.
It's that
right.
time of the month.
Yeah, time to upgrade to fiber optic maybe, instead of sharing a copper cable with your neighbors.
And hey, you know what? You gotta worry about them shiesty ISPs, man. They will throttle you.
Yeah, you know, you got to switch every so often just to get them to drop your prices.
Yeah, right. It's unfortunate as it is, but you know what? Hey, like we said, we had a hell of a streaming week this week, pulling up huge numbers with Mother Mondays, Drix. We had almost 10 people.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad I made it to a more positive resolution, beating Belch. You know, I sang a song or two waiting to get into his dungeon behind the waterfall. You know, Mr. Saturn of Saturn Village tells you to wait for 3 minutes. So what am I going to do? Maybe bust out in song.
Fellas, it was literally
wait.
3 minutes. He had to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's part of the game, and it's pretty awesome. You'll probably see that clip popping up on our reels, on our socials pretty soon.
Sweet. And you know what else? You'll probably see some clips of me playing some Sonic Frontiers, because you know what? Those clips, the clips are coming back, folks. Clips are coming back on Facebook. Clips are coming back on TikTok. Clips are coming back on Instagram. Because, guys, I don't know if you've been tuning in, because Drix is kicking ass all the time. Like he said, killed Belch. And you know what, guys? If you weren't there on Mother Monday, it was worth the time, because Belch gave Drix a run for his money, guys. I gotta tell you, killed him once. He had to come back stronger than ever, and he did. He had his back to the wall, and it was amazing to watch.
Yeah, the last minute, useful item I pulled out really came through. I should have done it sooner, but it's always annoying when enemies in Earthbound summon more of their friends, and that's when things could take a turn for the worst.
Monsters
Especially
are
if you
inside.
can't see how many of them piling up behind you. Yep. Do not enter. Belch and little piles of slime inside.
And Drix overcoming immeasurable odds. And guys, again, if you're not tuning into our twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch, you're also missing me. I'm Vector, and I'm playing the backlog beatdown on some Sonic Frontiers. Guys, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm getting quite a few first-run S ranks in these cyberspace levels.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game with a lot of crazy perspectives and mechanics and boss fights.
Yeah.
So it really is quite the pleasure to watch like a heavy-duty Sonic fan take on the latest in the Sonic franchise.
I gotta say, you hit the nail on the head, Drix, with like the forced perspectives. Like these, it's really, really cool going from island to island to island and having them introduce, like you said, a new perspective or a new way to play as in the open world that has not been utilized in the game before that. You know, in this latest island, I believe it's called Ares Island. I'm trying to save Tails, and a lot of these, and a little bit of the ones in the island before it with Knuckles, had these moments where you're in the 3D open world, and the perspective forces you into a 2D side-scrolling situation in the middle of the open world, and it's like, whoa, very, very cool. Very, very fun mechanics, super immersive, very cinematic.
Yeah, I remember them talking before the release, like, look, this is going to be a Sonic game unlike any other, and I think it really lives up to that par.
I absolutely agree. As like you said, Drix, I am a heavy-duty Sonic fan, and as a heavy-duty Sonic fan, honestly, the game does kind of blow me away at times. I get pretty... Like I said, it just, like, switching in the open world from, like, free roam 3D to 2D, and then in the first world, the first island, switching from free roam open world into the Sonic Dash style control scheme where you're, like, shifting from side to side while moving at full speed.
Surfing.
Yeah, it's crazy because it all happens so seamlessly.
Yeah, that's really something beautiful that you figured out in the design of that game.
Yeah, it's a very, very, it's a nice feat of design prowess because I don't know, man. I haven't played a game that's an open world game that lets the open world have its. You know, you play a Bethesda game and the open world. A lot of people say the Bethesda game, the open world is the character, but I think in Sonic Frontiers, that statement is like way more true because, you know, Bethesda games and other RPG games, yeah, you could say the world is a character because it houses so many great locales and the interactions within them. But in Sonic Frontiers, the personality of the world is one that you get to completely experience hands-on. There is no what is it called? Exposition other than reflected in gameplay. So it's very, very, it makes for a very fun game.
Yeah, the character is in the cinematography.
Yeah, because dude, it's funny if you go back and you watch the, if anyone watching, you know, you go back, CFM on Twitch, twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. You go and check out that VOD. At one point, you know, chat, they're talking to me, and like, I mean, I'm just lackadaisically running through the world, bro. And then all of a sudden, I hit a spring, and then the spring sends me into like this crazy sequence of like, I need to run really fast. Oh, be ready to jump at a moment's notice, because if you don't jump, you're gonna fuck the whole thing up, and you have to start over again. So like, you know, you have to be ready whenever anything happens, and it just happens when you're just, oh, I'm just running around the open world. Oh, I hit a spring. Oh my God, I'm like in a level. Like,
yeah, make one wrong turn, and next thing you know, you're in another Green Hill Zone or something.
Yeah, just out of nowhere in the middle of the open world. So I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. Yep.
There you were, just enjoying the chat, and now you got to try hard.
I'm like, sorry guys, if I delay on the response, I need to be aware at all times while playing this game.
It requires concentration.
It's like it gives you that feeling like a Fallout game where it's like there's danger around every corner, but it's not a super mutant. It's a platform.
Yeah, or a rail.
Yeah, a rail or a random, like, oh, I'm just gonna do my little Sonic spin circle thing. The Psy loop. I'm just gonna do a Psy loop around right here in this conspicuous area where there's like a rail out in the distance. Oh, a spring appears. Uh-oh, spring. Wow.
Next thing you know, you're in the heat of platforming battle.
and you want to get to the end because you could get one of those Cocos with the funny hats tricks.
Oh yeah, no, gotta love some good hat mechanics.
Well, the Cocos with the hats, they must be collected.
Yep, that's the real MVPs over here.
Surprisingly dark story with those funny little guys. But anyway, if you're missing this, but you're missing anything that we're talking about, you're like, what are these guys talking about? What are they play video games actually? Like, it's not just like Injustice B-roll all the time. Like, no, we play the video
we
games.
Don't just talk about it.
Yeah, we play the video games. It's over there, twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. Be sure you're following us over there to make sure that you never miss any of this gameplay. Because guys, those archives go up at some point. But if you miss it,
it'll eventually make it to YouTube.
If you miss it, you miss it. Like,
yeah, you're at the whim of our uploads.
But that's why, guys, don't fret. That's why clips are coming back.
Yes.
The clips, they're coming back.
A couple clip tricks up our sleeves.
Absolutely. But you know what? That's enough from our gameplay tricks. This last week, I don't know if anybody listening, I don't know if you guys are all tuned in like me and Drix, but this last week, a lot of crazy shit happened that has been blowing out. We're going to talk about a lot of it, but there's also a couple things that I think went under the radar, and one of them was these interviews, these game dev interviews. One interview, I wouldn't say it's gone under the radar. A couple of places have picked up on it, but Mr. Matty Plays over here on YouTube, he interviewed the man, the myth, the legend, Todd Howard himself.
Yeah, Todd Howard is always something good for an entertaining interview, and man, Matty just like really took the nerd cake and got like one of the head honchos at Bethesda to like sit down and do a nice little video call with him, and it was very well received and eloquent, entertaining, educational. A lot of cool stuff was discussed.
To be fair, you know what? He got a lot out of Todd that I didn't think a humble guy like him would get. But apparently Todd's a fan. The guys over at Bethesda, they're fans of so
they're like, despite his critiques, like, we can trust you and we know you're coming from the right place, and they listen when he talks and gives his little opinions on Bethesda games. And
it makes for a very interesting dynamic with the two when they start talking about the Creation Club stuff that's coming to Starfield, or that just arrived, to Starfield recently. And Drix, that interview is really cool. We're going to get into that in a minute. But first, I do believe that we're going to talk about the biggest thing that happened over the last, and just yesterday. And that is...
Oh, we're going to talk a little Nintendo, huh?
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, this was awesome. This was really cool. We got a lot of, first party Nintendo Switch titles, new trailers. Again, just end out, and it is a great time to be a gamer right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Definitely a great time to be a gamer. A lot from Nintendo, and a lot like we're seeing right here on the B-roll, not from Nintendo. Funny enough, you got this Lego Horizon. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of a strange title to be jumping in the Nintendo Direct, right? Like,
yeah. And that's scheduled for release around the holiday. You usually expect Legos to be based on some kind of movie or like Marvel comic franchise, but like that's kind of a new take. Like, we're gonna bring the
a little bit of difficulties.
some dubstep animals and turn them into little Lego bricks. Sounds like a good time.
Absolutely. And so one of the games that, so we're going to go like one by one pretty much here. We're going to go back and forth, talk about everything that was announced here. That was Lego Horizon. Next, we're going to talk about, Drix, how do you feel about Mario and Luigi Brothership? Oh, hold on. Sorry about that, folks. We got a little bit of technical problem. Bandwidth issue. Oh, did we lose Drix? We might have lost Drix. Oh, are we back?
Yeah, hey there. Ground control to Major Tom.
Drix, we are back. All right.
Wow. You know, there might be some difficulties in hosting a radio show not in the same room across various counties in California.
Hey, you know,
we have quite the long distance relationship, Vector and I.
Yeah, from LA to San Diego, we are here bringing you CFM Radio as best as we can.
Yeah, as bandwidth allows.
But now we'll try to get through this a little bit quicker because we're going to go through the Nintendo Direct pretty much one by one, and we're going to, right now we have on the B-roll, after a little bit of a delay, Mario and Luigi Brothership. Oh, hello in the chat, Joseph Ledesma. Hello.
What up, cuh?
So how'd you feel about Mario and Luigi Brothership, Drix?
You know, if you would have told me a year ago, that we were going to get another Mario and Luigi game, I would have laughed in your face and said, haha, nope, that's never going to happen. They shut the, DS stores down. There's not going to be another Mario and Luigi game. But now here we are after the recent Nintendo Direct. And what a great, year or so we've had for Mario RPGs,
Yeah.
Take it from a guy who beat Mario RPG over on Twitch.
On stream.
Yeah. As far as RPGs featuring Mario go, we have an absolute Easter basket full of them to play, and we're gonna keep adding eggs to this one.
And in the same vein, we have we have another game that I didn't think anybody would even think about, which is the Nintendo World Championship NES Edition. Drix, how do you feel about this one?
What a concept, we're gonna make games about speedrunning, is what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, it's, there's something to be said about how things aren't as, let's say, Nintendo hard as they used to be. But if you've ever wanted to try your hand at speedrunning, this is a great dojo. It's almost like hitting the training room in a fighting game.
You're right.
This is. It's exactly what it says. It's the NES World Championship, So it's I think it's pretty cool and innovative how you can race against other people's best times. They're ghost players.
That is pretty cool.
They got a little bit of that that battle royale knockout system, and there's you people around our age or maybe a little more Gen X. They still have this ability, with whatever game they grew attached to growing up. And it's nice that the skills that you learned and may still have as an adult, they're going to pay off if you pick this one up and, just aim to time trial your best time possible.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. I'm definitely not a guy who's into very much of the time trials, especially old school games. I'm not really into that kind of aspect. But I know growing up in that time, like you said, Drix, a lot of those old head gamers, they really, really, really love that aspect. They love the speed runs. They love the score attack. They love all that kind of stuff. And not to mention the huge speedrunning community like the Games Done Quick guys and all these new age speedrunners who still hold down the fort today.
Yeah, they'll even, what's cool is they even included some tips, like, oh, here's when to jump in Mario if you want to beat it in one run using warp pipes. So you too can be a speedrunner, and they'll give you just all the information in one neat little package. You know, I saw some Excite Bike on there, and pretty much the top NES classic games are all here for you to really just hit the dirt and enjoy the nitty-gritty of time trials and speedrunning, and a little friendly competition with the online play as well.
Indeed. And, you know, we just saw Super Mario Party Jamboree. Drix, I can't wait for that one. And I also can't wait for this one, the new Legend of Zelda game, where the big twist, Drix, is I don't know if anybody played the game Mario is Missing, but you could call this one Link is Missing. Because he's not there. As you can see in the B-roll, he beats Ganon, saves the princess, and then in a huge twist of fate, Playmobil Link gets sucked away, and then it's up to Princess Zelda herself.
Yeah, I mean, with the name of the franchise being Legend of Zelda, it's pretty nice to see her take the spotlight. But even in the Nintendo Direct, you know, they were like, is she going to wield a sword? And that is not the case. She is using echoes, and that's going to make for a puzzle platforming paradise where you can summon monsters, beds, tables, all kinds of objects. And there's probably 100 ways just to complete like any given mission or objective, like 100 ways to go from point A to point B in that one.
And that's it. And you know what, Drix? I can't wait. I can't. Excuse me. Personally, I was very disappointed with the lack of puzzles in Tears of the Kingdom. And you know,
or you could just dig around them.
You could pretty much just play around them, or they were incredibly trivial. So I'm happy to see a brand new Zelda game that focuses on puzzles. Old school Zelda fans like me, I loved the integration of puzzles in dungeons alongside the action. And even though like I have to, I guess, pick one or the other these days, I'm happy that I can still experience this style of gameplay. And you know what? To be fair, I get that people might want Zelda in a more action role, but you know what, man? We had like 2 Hyrule Warriors games and like a whole DLC.
Yeah, you can get your fix elsewhere. When it comes to Zelda, you know, it's going to be puzzle platforming and top-down dungeoning.
Yeah, as opposed, like, you know, if you want like kick-ass Zelda chic action hero Zelda, you boot up some Hyrule Warriors, and I guarantee you'll get your fix. Like and she looks badass doing it.
Yep, Dynasty Warriors Musou style game. Beat 'em up.
Absolutely. And hey, you know what? We're going to talk about really quick. Fairy Tail 2, Drix. Are you a Fairy Tail anime fan?
You know, that's one of the more modern animes I haven't picked up on yet, but I was definitely intrigued by the trailer that I saw and some of the interesting RPG mechanics that will show up in the battle system.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm not big into Fairy Tail either, and on top of, but I also like a good RPG. And I'm hoping I'm hoping that this game turns out more like one of those solid RPGs that just uses the name to give itself a little bit more clout in the public eye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the My Hero Academia Battle Royale was probably my favorite Battle Royale game.
Hey, there you go. And we'll also, really quick, Fantasian Neo Dimension. Drix, this one looked right up your alley.
Yeah, you got design by Sakaguchi and music by Uematsu. I am sold.
Yeah.
You're getting some of the founding fathers of Final Fantasy involved, and again, kind of like Fairy Tail, some interesting RPG mechanics.
Right,
You can
this
save enemies,
one.
fight them for later. You can almost like in Chrono Trigger, where the enemy's position kind of matters a lot more, and you can like you're bowling or playing pinball or something. You can aim your magic and spells to target specific enemies and stuff.
I didn't think of it like that,
a
but
little
you're
bit
totally
of that,
right.
A little bit of that geometry, or like golf. It's like the golf of JRPGs, you know? It's like the
Kirby's
Dream
Course.
Course. Yup, exactly. No, that looks awesome, and I can't wait to check that one out. A lot of, as far as RPGs go, a lot of good stuff that I want to pick up on my Switch, throw up under the Final Fantasy umbrella. You got Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remaster, which
And that's what you're
apparently
seeing
is
in the B-roll right now. Dragon Quest 3 2D HD remake in the B-roll right now if you're watching us on YouTube. And Drix, I agree with you. This one looks awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but ever since the Switch came out and I wanted to pick up Octopath Traveler, all I want is 2.5D 2D HD games on my Switch. So, we had Star Ocean R recently, and it was funny. It was funny to hear the actual Dragon Quest guy himself say, you know what? I think it'd be funny if you played 3 first, since it's the prequel, and then played 1 and 2. So
because
that's
they're coming
the
out.
order that they're going to release them. Yeah, we got this ready for you. As soon as you finish Dragon Quest 3, by the time you get to the end of that one, we'll have Dragon Quest 1 and 2 ready for you. And he had a cute little slime plushie on his lap while he's saying all this.
I think it was pretty cool. I really liked that. How they were just like, hey, you know what? 3 is technically the first one, so why not just play that one first and release it like that in chronological order? Very, very fun and very, very engaging idea. I really, really liked it. Really quick, it's not going to be on the stream, but Drix, have you at all jumped into Nintendo Switch Sports? I kind of jumped into it, but I bounced off of it. Have you checked it out at all?
Not since the Wii, really, but there was a few nice little games that got updates, and the Switch Sports was one of them. They're adding basketball to it. They'll have some dribble and shoot action, some 2-on-2 head-to-head gameplay. So it's pretty sweet that even if you already got this game, there will be more to enjoy. Same thing with
a whole
Among
new mode.
Us. There's Yeah, exactly. New modes, new updates, some sweet patches incoming.
And hey, you know what? You're seeing it here on the stream, the B-roll right now. This is Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and Drix, the dream is a reality. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is
live your cozy Hello Kitty life.
This is we heard about this first when all the way back in South Park, the World of Warcraft episode. Butters, his game was all Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Now Drix, we get to play Hello Kitty Island Adventure on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of a Hello Kitty video game since maybe the Super Nintendo. There might have been some DS stuff that I missed as far as Sanrio games are concerned. But yeah, already, pivotal pop culture icon now getting a new entry into the Nintendo Switch.
And you get to make your own character. You get to make your own Sanrio style character. Drix, I'm a huge Sanrio fan. It's insane to me that I can make my own Sanrio style character and hang out with fucking Batsmaru. That's amazing.
Yup, Karopi and the gang. It's gonna be sweet. They're gonna jump right out of your pencil and stationery collection and onto your Nintendo Switch.
Hell yeah, you know me, man. Those goddamn removable erasers. Slap a Karopi on top, you're all good.
Yup, sold. Big money, big prizes.
And here you go, right here on the B-roll right now. You're seeing it. This is another one that made me think of you, Drix. This Farmasia game.
That looks very interesting. Almost, it reminds me of Overlord,
Right.
a series we haven't really heard from in a while, but like, yeah, or Chaos Legion on the PS2.
I was gonna say
where-
Chaos Legion's way like that's what I got vibes from.
Yeah, no, and that's awesome because it's very action, but also very strategy, and but strategy, but in the real time, and you got some cute cartoony anime visuals to look at, and hopefully a nice story behind it too, in the land of Felicidad.
Yeah, Felicidad. And you know what, Drix? We were gonna go through this whole damn thing, but you know what? We really just don't have the time. So I wanted to ask you. Give me 3 more games, Drix. Give me 3 more games that you thought were like standouts in this one. And I got 3 that I want to talk about.
Man, I'm stoked to finally be able to purchase Marvel vs. Capcom 2 again in the form of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. And for some
Absolutely.
reason, they threw in. That's something I'm going to want to add to my library instead of, emulating.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that was
I
one
gotta
of
take
mine
a minute
too.
to laugh at Funko Fusion, because that is a hilarious idea. I guess if you've already, paid for the right.
You're right.
Rights and the likenesses of
All
comes
those.
into sort of the same. I find that very funny that that's happening. I hope people enjoy it. I'm not a Funko Pop fan myself, but I hope anybody who collects will also play and enjoy Funko Fusion. But I love tower defense games, and Metal Slug Attack Reloaded.
Yes.
That's something else that kind of piqued my interest.
So like 2 of my games, you said
I've dumped a lot of quarters into Metal Slug games.
Oh,
in Neo
dude.
Geo.
I was just revisiting old Metal Slug games the other day. It's actually funny.
When that popped up on my feeds.
Yeah, I was revisiting old Metal Slug games the other day, and I was playing through Metal Slug 3. That game was really hard. You pretty much said 2 of them, Marvel vs. Capcom for me, and Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. Both of those games look awesome, and I'm like an old school gamer, so both of those games are really like right up my alley. And I like you said, I love me some good tower defense, and that's going to be pretty cool. But Drix, the other game that I wanted to talk about right now is we finally saw it. We finally saw footage from Metroid Prime 4. Like I couldn't believe it. Metroid Prime 4 like actually here. Oof. Oop. Technical difficulties. Hold on. One moment here, folks.
Our super hype Discord call. Nintendo Direct was just too meaty for one Discord call.
It was just too meaty. It was just too meaty, Drix. And you know what? You're seeing it on the stream right now. Can you believe we finally saw Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, another game. If you would have told me about a year or a month ago, I would have laughed and said, nope, we're not getting another Metroid. No way. But it's been in development, and here it comes finally to our Nintendo Switches.
Finally to the Nintendo Switch. Man, it's so crazy to see this game. 2025, so we're not going to get it this year, but next year is going to be crazy. And you know what? There was so many games in this Nintendo Direct, Drix. The rest of the year looks great for Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I feel like I don't pay as much attention to my Switch as I do as my PC or my PS5. Whenever I come back to it, I realize like, wow, they have not stopped. There was always great things happening over here. You know, for single player games, multiplayer games, online. It's worth it to keep your Switch Online subscription updated, and maybe even pick up that expansion pass, because I would love to play some Perfect Dark.
Yeah, honorable mention going to Perfect Dark and Turok.
Yeah, some great Nintendo 64 shooters coming to the Switch. I mean, they're out now. Some of this stuff dropped tonight.
Yeah.
The night of the Direct.
So Nintendo Direct, great time. In lieu of our technical difficulties, folks, we're gonna jump right into the Todd Howard interview. We're gonna speed on through this, and we might just jump in, cut it right after that. But Drix, I can't skip this Todd Howard interview, right? This Todd Howard interview, it was pretty meaty.
Yeah, it was nice to get a little deep dive into the minds behind such beloved franchise as Fallout and, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, and even Starfield has been doing great lately.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that. So, listen, I know that we had some. Listen, I was a big fan of Starfield. I still like Starfield. I stream it from time to time on my PC. Like to this day, I'll jump in, play some Starfield. I've jumped back into Fallout 76. You're seeing some Fallout 76 ads right here on the B-roll. And Drix, this I gotta say, everybody had their opinions about Starfield when it came out. Everybody had their opinions about Fallout 76 when it came out. Neither of these games was very well received by the public, in spite of critical reviews, and maybe in the case of Starfield, critical review success. But you hear from the man himself, Todd Howard, people are playing the hell out of these games.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't succeed at launch, patch and patch again. But they're definitely doing a good amount of coasting off of the Fallout TV show. So they said more than once, Fallout is as popular as it's ever been. So it's even the diehard Fallout 76 community that's been playing since launch. They were very well received with the batch of fresh blood, and all the new players showing up, because it's just such an interactive and multiplayer game. It literally changed the game, and yeah, a lot of good times still being had by everybody in this new frontier. They got some new updates coming out, a lot of interesting creator stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the note of that creator stuff, you and I were talking about this before the show. In the interview by Mr. Matty Plays on YouTube, y'all gotta check it out. Mr. Matty Plays on YouTube. This interview with Todd Howard, you gotta listen to it for yourself. But he,
YouTuber that could.
Todd let him know that I guess there was some complaints about a couple of the prices on some of that latest Starfield Creator Club content. And Todd Howard, say what you want about the guy, it really sounds like he tries to protect or foster talent and passion when he sees it, because he straight up told him, hey, look, man, some of these Creation Club creators, they're sponsored by us, and they've gone from hobbyists to full-time content creators.
Yeah, not too unlike the Roblox community where you can work at an IKEA, like we've talked about.
Very
recently.
True.
Yeah, if there's a little bit of a stiff price tag on any of those creator creations, it's probably due to the hours that they put into it. So he'd at least like to facilitate them getting the benefits of their work, and hopefully these full-time creators can earn a bit of a living off of their creations.
And it's really, really cool to hear Todd talk about that the community, right? Just the community and how integral of a part the community plays in the design of the game. Because from what it sounded like, the Starfield Creation Club stuff is pretty in lockstep with their own development tools.
Yeah, it was interesting when he referred to their big franchises as platforms. You know? So when asked, would you make a spin-off game, or maybe contract out to a smaller developer, another indie title based on Fallout or Elder Scrolls, and he's like, like these games are we try to see them as platforms, and if they did do that, it'd be on the mobile front, we're talking like Fallout Shelter,
Right.
which is pretty fun and engaging, keep you coming back and tapping your touch screen. But they, with the community of modders out there that they try to show their all due respect to, like, yeah, they see these places and these worlds that they've created as platforms to launch all kinds of stuff. So they really take deeply into consideration, like, oh, we have like an item, like, do we want to build a quest around the item, or do we want to build a faction around like these outfits and things like that? With them, they try their darndest to not come off too cash grabby, but while also working with the creators and their creative visions when modding.
Yeah, it was interesting when he said that we'll do something like on the mobile front, or we'll try to incorporate it into a game like 76, like something already existing into Elder Scrolls Online even.
Yeah.
It was just... It's a very good interview because he goes into a lot of how they see not only their products and their projects, but they see how they affect and how it interacts with the rest of the industry. Like, because you could tell by listening to this show, developers have very, very different takes when it comes to making their own games. And Todd right here is really, really, really focused on not just getting the game out, but making sure that you, the player, have the best experience that you can with it. And it might be funny to hear, or like ironic to hear that after like games like launch, like Starfield and 76, they launch in these weird suboptimal states, let's say. But
yeah,
you play those games today, and we don't even have to speculate. Todd Howard said himself, there are metrics that show that Starfield is one of the most played games of last year.
Yeah, actually, he mentioned that most games that people play at the moment are at least like on average 6 years old, and the one that's standing up to be a real competitor is Starfield.
Yeah, so you could hear, it's just one of those things, and we'll get into it in the Smite interview coming up right here too, the Smite 2 dev interview. It's interesting to see the contrast between the fan perception and what people online and what the fans might think is going on versus when the devs come out and actually say, hey, this is what's going on,
Yeah, I think the metrics were something like 6 million Starfield players, and they're all playing like 40 to 60 hours.
Yeah, over 40 hours.
On average.
That's a lot of people playing your game for a really long time.
Yeah, probably enough to beat it and enjoy some side quests and procedurally generated planets. That was another cool thing you touched on too, was like, how much of the items and quests are like super duper written and constructed versus procedurally generated like legendaries and stuff. And he says there's a balance. There's room for both.
He says there's a lot of procedural generated. The interesting thing that I heard was how procedurally generated Fallout 76 ended up being, and during the creation, and then after those aspects were finished, they went in there and essentially, I guess, breathed life into the world. So it sounds like what they do is they get the procedural generation in there and let it kind of go crazy with the parameters that they set it, and then they go in there with a fine-tooth comb. And
definitely, seems like they've got the right balance in their heads.
Right.
As far as developing worlds goes.
Trying to get that workflow optimized.
Yeah, give it a random dice roll of the calculator, and then customize to your artistic taste. From
exactly. Very, very interesting way to go about game design. Very good interview with Mr. Matty Plays over there on YouTube. Again, go check him out. He's so awesome. I'll have a link to that in the comments. I'll pin it after the stream here. So that's that. And really quick, I'll go through some new releases. We're not going to have very much music on the show tonight, unfortunately, but it's a pretty meaty show, so.
Yeah, big things happened in the last week, and the last thing we need is a bandwidth slowdown.
Yeah, unfortunately, this bandwidth slowdown stole your music, so if you don't like bandwidth stealing your music, comment, give us more bandwidth.
Yes, and I'll expedite the mixtapes of video game music that I have coming your way.
We'll get them on there. So, the first new release we're going to talk about is where did I put that? Oh, well, hold on.
Oh, I got this footage in here somewhere.
Yeah, we got this footage in here somewhere. Somewheres.
Digging through the magic murder bag.
Yeah. I don't know how this went like this. Oh boy. Here we go. We might have a all right. There we go.
Hello. My name is Matt Marshall.
Now, sorry about that.
There's always this StarCraft music to enjoy too.
Indeed. And here we go. This is Dystopic. Sorry about that. Sorry about blocking the beautiful music for a moment there. This is Dystopic. And that is from the Steam page. Quote. Sorry. Again, it's here somewhere. From the Steam page, quote, Dystopic is a small city builder inspired by cyberpunk and the wanderlust of cities that never sleep. Place buildings, giant billboards, and towering holograms working in harmony with procedural generation for landscape, traffic, and lights to create your own future metropolis rich with vibes and ambiance. Escape to your own little dystopian dreams or nightmares. No goals, no objectives, no wins or losses. Just relax and embrace the creative cyberpunk zen. If you love to turn on the cheat codes and just build, this one's for you. Drix, this sounds pretty cool. Dystopica arrives on Steam. Dystopica. It arrives on Steam Friday, June 21st, and this looks pretty cool, Drix.
Yeah, no, definitely. If you don't want to be on the street samurai level of the dirt and lit of any cyberpunk world, you can just sit back, relax, and place some holographic ads in the sky and what have you.
Absolutely. And you know what? You can even put little kitties up in the sky if you so wish.
Yeah, more cat games.
More cat games. And then again, sorry if we get an audio disturbance here, because our next game right now is not a game, but
Peggy
a
16.
DLC.
Oh yeah, long awaited
DLC. And that DLC is the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. And that
What's
is
the Erd Tree, and why do we need one?
And well, you know what, Drix? I'll tell you. It's from the official page, quote, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC is From Software's largest expansion to date, where players must unravel the hidden mystery of the world from the acclaimed fantasy action RPG. And new key features include a new storyline, a new world to explore, and tons of new items and gear to find. So, Drix, the Erd Tree, to answer your question, sounds like more content.
Oh yeah, big time. If you've played Elden Ring, you are guy, and if you're a fan, you're probably already excited about all the new stuff you're gonna be able to be doing in this DLC release.
Indeed, and you know what, man? I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait for the complete edition to maybe drop down in price a little bit before I grab this one myself. But Drix, you are an Elden Ring enjoyer. Are you gonna check this one out when it drops?
You know, I've still got plenty of Elden Ring base game to get through, and I'm still on the learning curve to get good. Heck, I might even look up like a build and try something new. But you know, if I ever make it to the end of Elden Ring, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna want to load up some of this DLC and see where the story will take us. Because you know, you gotta love some Dark Souls lore, but also with that J.R.R. Martin, you know, curled finger touch to it. You know, that's really something special as far as writing goes, and you know, anything to distract him from writing more Game of Thrones novels.
Very true. And that Shadow of the Erd Tree Elden Ring DLC, that one also drops this Friday, June 21st. Don't miss it. And our final story of the night, we're rapid firing this at you guys hardcore, and that is Drix, this Smite 2 interview.
Yeah, speaking of Dark Souls, you know, the interview was titled "MOBAs are the Dota 2 fan and player." I really agree with that statement.
Absolutely, and for those of you at home that didn't quite get that, Drix, that from Drix, the headline is Smite 2 interview. MOBAs are the Dark Souls of multiplayer games from Tech4 Gamers. And Drix, you, like as you were saying, you play MOBAs and Souls games. And you know what, man? I've never played Smite, but I know a lot of people who do. And I don't know.
Yeah, same.
This looks like a crazy MOBA, right? This definitely looks like a MOBA on steroids. Like,
yeah, I'm, again, as a Dota person, I'm more used to the RTS, like top-down, whole lot of right-clicking kind of MOBA, but there is a lot of room for this, like, third-person style. And, you know, you might see a different roster than you're used to if you're you're coming from the first Smite. But yeah, they've got a lot of enhancements in store, and you know, reworks of characters, and maybe even a new engine, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, it's Unreal 5, I believe. Yeah, Unreal 5. And you know, it's funny.
Yeah, that's part of what he goes into.
Yeah, he goes into it a lot. We're gonna jump into we'll jump in on the question is, do you have any tips for new players taking an interest in the franchise for the first time? And the team responds, I've said it before, but MOBAs are kind of like the Dark Souls of multiplayer games. They're hard. There's a big knowledge gap when you start playing, but every time you die, you learn and you get better, and you find this immense, deep, enjoyable, incredibly rewarding multiplayer experience that no other game can compare to. I like MOBAs. I don't play a ton of MOBAs anymore, but I was playing a lot of Gigantic recently, and I played old school Dota. I'm a big old school Dota player, and Warcraft 3 style. And You know what, man? Those games, they're definitely a grind, but it definitely is awesome when you nail your perfect plays. And you know, you see them here in the B-roll a little bit. Smite 2 just had its first alpha weekend, so we get to see some gameplay here, and we'll see some highlights from their YouTube channel. But like we were saying earlier, the interview also hits on some incredibly interesting points about the Unreal Engine, console populations, and on the industry side of the multiplayer live service titles. There are a couple things they had to say.
Yeah, doing a complete rebuild, and it sounds like they've been thinking about it for a while, but Yeah, Smite 2 has been like a decade-long dream for them.
Yeah,
that takes a lot of preparation and dedication.
Absolutely. They have over 100 gods in the original Smite game. And not only that, Smite 2 was also the center of a controversy rather recently when it was announced, when they said that your old cosmetics would not transfer from Smite 1 into Smite 2, which is a bummer, but as you're seeing in Smite 2 right now, this looks like a significant improvement over the original game.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be worth it if they're leaving PS4 and Xbox One in the dust, right? But from their metrics, it seems like they said 4/5 of their fan base has already moved on to next-gen consoles, so they have enough data to, see what that impact is going to be like, and they're going to keep Smite 1 up to date and working on those previous generations too, so they've still got some time and some game to enjoy. But yeah, 130 gods or playable characters would be a lot to learn on launch, so
on day one
they're going to take their time, and they're going to make Smite 2 as good as they possibly can, whether it's the characters or the items or the gameplay and stuff. I love he mentions a tip for new players: watch your positioning. Be careful where you stand, because you want to give yourself the advantage as far as where you're at on the map in accordance with other characters and teammates and enemies and stuff. That always comes into play in Dota, and it's in typical MOBA fashion, it's going to apply here in Smite too.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. That's very true. First of all, very, very true. That's true in almost any competitive multiplayer hero-based game. It's super. Overwatch is pretty much all positioning. It's like positioning the game. But I want to touch back.
Flank on flanks.
Yeah, right. I want to touch back though, really quick, Drix, on what you were saying about console populations. And here's from the article. Quote, the question is, do you believe leaving behind last-gen hardware like the PS4 and Xbox One will significantly impact Smite 2's player base? And the team responds with, quote, we don't expect a major impact. Our internal tracking suggests about 4/5 of our active Smite player base has already migrated to current-gen consoles. But for those people still on old-gen platforms, Smite 1 will remain available and updated so they can get their third-person MOBA fix. Drix, like you were saying earlier, you hit the nail on the head. 4/5 of our active Smite population. Smite is a huge game. I don't have a figure in front of me right now, but that game is huge. And
it's been around a while too.
Right, and we hear it on the we've said it on the show. You could hear it online. We hear all kinds of figures. People aren't buying new consoles. People aren't upgrading into the current gen. People don't have PS5 and Xbox One. Xbox Series S is holding up the show, right? We've heard that from a lot of developers, including Larian. Like Xbox Series S holding up the show. So all of this crazy stuff about people not upgrading to current hardware. But here we go with the Smite devs saying, guys, our active player base is pretty much converted to PS5, Xbox One, or Xbox Series consoles.
They're already there. There won't be a big hit in the player base, and they can just keep playing Smite 1 if that's their preference.
That is crazy to me to hear, because I don't know if it's just me, but here's the thing, Drix. Going hand in hand with this, I'm going to say it, narrative that there is no incentive to go into next gen. There's no, we're seeing console exclusives wind down. We're blah, 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 blah. All this rhetoric. I don't know, Drix. You have the Smite guys saying, guys, our player base is on PS5. Like, then you have these crazy showcases. the PlayStation Showcase, the general consensus is that was the weak one compared to Xbox and Nintendo. And I don't know about you, Drix, but I saw a fair amount of exclusive titles in all of these showcases.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there are definitely some, we thought exclusives were over, maybe 2 weeks ago before all these showcases and stuff. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, maybe there's a reason for me to go out and pick up an Xbox console.
Yeah, I'll say it like this. I'm thinking of picking up one of those new Xbox consoles that they announced on the Xbox Direct last week. Because, I mean, Drix, there's a lot of stuff coming out on Xbox. And, it might be on PC, but my PC, guys, spoiler alert, I wasn't able to upgrade my PC, so I don't have a great PC right now. And Starfield streaming was fine, but I would much rather play it with a controller in my hand on local hardware.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
And that streaming is great in a pinch. I think if I had my laptop on like a trip, like if I was going traveling and I wanted to play some fucking Starfield, that would work fine if I had the internet for it. But I want to play that game on my Xbox. I want to play Avowed on my Xbox. I want to play all of these games on an Xbox. So, Drix, it sounds you might not need an Xbox if you have a PC, but it sounds like you're going to need Game Pass. And there was there were plenty of games in the Nintendo showcase that Switch ain't dead.
No, far from it. We won't hear about another Switch until at least the end of the year, the holiday season.
Right. It's like, and I don't know about you, but as a Switch owner, I feel like my year is pretty stacked now that I've seen that Direct.
Yeah, there's still plenty of Nintendo first-party games that I need to pick up and enjoy on the Switch, maybe even buy physical copies so I can hang on to them for all of eternity. Absolutely.
So, these corporations, guys,
What they
Let's zoom in on it. Corporations, guys. They're going to say a lot of things. And they're gonna tell everybody that they want you to play the way that you want to play. You play games with friends however you want to play them. But you know what? I'll say it like this. If I'm on PC Game Pass and you're on Xbox Game Pass, you and I cannot play Fallout 76 together. So I can leave it at that and say that maybe when we think about console exclusivity and incentive for buying consoles and hardware, and thinking back to what Xbox was saying about their next console being the biggest leap in console power of any console generation to ever exist. Drix, at the time it sounded like a lot of hot air.
Yeah. I mean, they'll say stuff, but there's obviously going to be more than a few subtleties to consider if you're considering purchasing a new console or even upgrading your PC, whether or not you have Game Pass and want to subscribe to the Netflix of video games.
Mm-hmm. Enter into, what did it say? A gaming ecosystem, as they like to call them.
Yeah. But, I mean, with all the money they've invested in buying studios, you sent me that video a while back where a developer was talking about it. It's going to take, by the time they recoup all of their investment, we'll probably be dead. They probably won't make the billions of dollars that they put into game studios and Game Pass. Yeah, they probably won't make that back in our lifetime. So, good luck in your Netflix venture, Microsoft.
It might work out for them. They might keep chugging along. But here's my deal, and I said it on the Xbox stream. I don't mean to be pessimistic about Xbox. I don't mean to be pessimistic about Game Pass. I'm actually really looking forward to a lot of these Xbox games like Avowed, like South of Midnight. I'm considering. You heard it here. I'm considering buying an Xbox to play these games. But I don't know. A lot of the Xbox games last year, with the exception of Starfield, the Bethesda game, were pretty disappointing to me, and I did not enjoy them.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm gonna get a Game Pass subscription, I'm gonna, pick it up for a month, maybe pay the $15 for Ultimate or whatever, stream all the latest games. I still want to play Starfield, to be precise. But I'll stream it maybe for a month or two, and then just turn it off, play what I want, and then leave. So that doesn't seem very return on investment for Xbox, Microsoft.
But as everybody says, we'll see when the Call of Duty rubber hits the Game Pass road.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, I'm sorry, everybody, we didn't get a lot of music tonight. We had a lot of great, awesome StarCraft background music. We had some sick Nintendo music during the direct recap from you, Drix. That was awesome. All those Nintendo tracks were sick.
Yeah, a little bit of Donkey Kong Country Returns, because that's getting an HD remake.
Yeah.
Very soon. I like to play a lot of classic Donkey Kong songs. I like to play here on the show too. So that's something to enjoy coming up.
Absolutely, because man, Donkey Kong Country, you'll be able to play all the new Donkey Kong Country games. Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Oh yeah, there's some great songs off of Tropical Freeze, and that's something I never got into. But
oh man, dude, Tropical Freeze is awesome.
You got your aquatic ambience, you got your sticker brush symphony, your frustrating water levels with very relaxing songs to keep you immersed.
Absolutely. All right, that's gonna be it from us here on CFM Radio. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the Smite YouTube for all of the stuff, all of that awesome Smite footage. Checking all that stuff out. So hey, Alpha Weekend coming up for Smite if you want to check that out.
Get ahead of that learning curve.
But we'll be back next week with more video game news. We'll be back next week with video game music. We'll have more music next week. I'll give a little bit more. I'll put the music on a pedestal next week for us. We'll do it like that.
Thanks.
So, either way, thank you, Drix, for joining us tonight and spinning what you did, talking with us about the awesome stuff that we've got coming up, especially if you're a Switch owner.
Yeah, I think we got all the big meaty showcases out of the way. Summer Games Fest, Xbox, Nintendo. I think we've covered all of our console bases.
Absolutely.
A lot of trailers to download and show everybody while we're talking about it.
Hey, man.
Trailer City the last couple weeks.
Hey, man, you know what? It's awesome. I love talking about all of these. Excuse me. I love talking about all of these brand new games that we have to look forward to. That's what we're here for. We're here for the games. The games are the what bring us together and what we love about this industry. They're so fun, and I can't wait to be playing them. Drix, we might be getting some new. We might be getting a stream from me tomorrow. Just tune into socials. Stay tuned to the Facebook. Stay tuned to the Twitch. I might be dropping in playing some chill games. I don't know. Maybe Sonic, maybe Fallout 76, maybe some Magic the Gathering. We'll see. But
yeah, we got a nice 4th of July weekend coming up too, and we might be doing some streaming over that weekend time off as well.
Absolutely.
I always like to pop in a good pinball game.
Hey, you know what? Drix, one of these days you're going to have to stream some pinball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like Pokemon pinball. It's one of my favorites, but maybe next I'll try Super Robot Pinball.
Oh, that was cool. I remember
Super Robot Wars, but pinball version. Kind of takes Pokemon pinball to the next level because you got like your kaiju battles almost, and a lot of your favorite anime theme songs as well in that one. Completely underrated, imported Game Boy Color game.
I remember you played that one time for a retro stream that we did. I don't know if it was quite a gold mine, but I remember when you played Super Robot Pinball on a retro stream, and dude, for a Game Boy game, that game has crazy good animation.
Yeah, and I just love all the old anime themes. You got your Mazinger Z and your Gundams. So nice. Gundam Wing, Mobile Suit Gundam, classic retro anime.
Hell yeah, I do love me some mecha anime. I love Gundam, I love Macross, I love all the good stuff. But with that, guys, I think it's time for us to go.
Yeah, it's about time to say farewell, good night, auf Wiedersehen, sayonara.
Indeed. Drix, where can we find you on the internet?
Man, I'm at Benham D&B on Instagram. I'm also Drix Casuist. Check out my band Casuist, Casuist. We got some shows coming up locally in Southern California, Los Angeles area this 4th of July weekend. We're playing the 3rd and the 6th out in, I don't know, places. You'll see some flyers coming up if you follow me. But yeah, follow Clusterfuck Media. We'll post some more clips and some more reels very soon, and drop a comment, drop us requests for your favorite video game music. We love you guys. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. Please follow us on Facebook, Clusterfucked Media, Cluster FUKT Media on Facebook. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitch, but we are CFM on Twitch. Make sure you follow us on here, and make sure you subscribe to us right here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Send us requests. Give us comments. We want to hear from you.
And on the TikTok as well.
Absolutely. TikTok, Clusterfuck Media on TikTok. Do not miss those. That's where some of the mother clips are going to be going. Make sure you check that shit out.
Yup. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
Have a good night.